What's up, y'all? Looking forward to being undisputed in September. Let's get it. It's work time.
Terence Crawford is confident that he will defeat, and possibly knock out, Canelo Álvarez in their upcoming fight this September. He boldly claimed that the Mexican-born champion isn't even close to his level. Fans are divided, some believe Crawford, while others think he's being overly confident. Even Eddie Hearn, the fight's promoter, seems to believe in Crawford, suggesting that history could be made if he wins. Hearn commented, "I feel like this undisputed fight with Crawford is really exciting. Crawford is already undisputed at 147 and 140, and he could become the first ever three-division undisputed champion." Many see Hearn's remarks as a strong endorsement, believing Crawford has a real shot at defeating Canelo. However, Canelo's fans are furious, calling Hearn's comments disrespectful to their champion's legacy. Meanwhile, reporters covering Crawford are excited, arguing that Hearn's support highlights just how dominant Crawford truly is. They stress that Crawford has the chance to become the first boxer in history to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes, a feat that makes this fight even more thrilling. Tensions are rising, and anticipation is building. Legendary boxer Roy Jones Jr. also weighed in, saying Crawford has a legitimate chance of knocking out Canelo. His comments have only added fuel to the fire. Fans now debate whether Jones is underestimating Canelo or simply recognizing Crawford's brilliance in the ring.
Fight for boxing, I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it go either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo.
Roy Jones Jr.'s remarks have only intensified the ongoing debate, with many interpreting his words as a prediction of Canelo's downfall. Crawford's supporters are rallying behind the idea that their fighter might pull off the impossible, while Canelo's fans are outraged, calling Jones's comments disrespectful. The war of words continues to escalate, with neither side backing down. With opinions so divided, this bout is shaping up to be one of the most polarizing fights in boxing history. Adding to the drama, former boxing champion Andre Ward has publicly backed Terence Crawford to beat Canelo Álvarez. Given Ward's respected reputation as one of the sport's sharpest minds, his endorsement has sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Many see his support as a strong vote of confidence in Crawford's skills and mental toughness, despite the challenge of moving up in weight.
Crawford, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford with nobody else. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Andre Ward's prediction has sparked intense reactions across the boxing community. Some fans praise his confidence in Crawford, while others accuse him of downplaying Canelo's dominance at 168 pounds. Critics argue that no welterweight has ever successfully challenged someone of Canelo's caliber at super middleweight. Crawford's supporters, however, see Ward's statement as validation of their fighter's greatness. They believe it proves Crawford has the tools to pull off a historic upset. With legacy, pride, and history on the line, the stakes are higher than ever. Experts being so divided has elevated this bout beyond a typical title fight. It's now a battle for greatness. As the fight approaches, Terence Crawford is taking his training to the next level. In a surprising move, he's joined Shakur Stevenson's training camp, a decision that has raised eyebrows in the boxing world. Stevenson, known for his precision and technical brilliance, is seen as an ideal sparring partner to help Crawford prepare for Canelo's unique style. This move has sparked heated debate. Crawford's supporters see it as proof of his unmatched dedication, while critics argue that no amount of sparring can fully prepare him for Canelo's power and experience. Some even view it as a sign of uncertainty, that Crawford feels the need to go above and beyond just to be competitive. On the other hand, Stevenson's involvement is being viewed by many as a potential secret weapon. His presence could give Crawford an edge in strategy and defense, areas where Canelo might struggle. No matter how it's interpreted, the stakes keep rising. Crawford's bold step has only added to the excitement surrounding the fight. He's also doubled down on his confidence, making bold statements that have become a major talking point. He declared, "I'm going to win. I'm going to win, man. I do everything, man. There ain't nothing that I can't do." These words have sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Supporters see it as unshakable self-belief backed by his undefeated record, while skeptics caution that such confidence might backfire against a seasoned champion like Canelo. Now the big question is, can Crawford's versatility withstand the pressure and physicality Canelo is known for? Regardless of which side you're on, one thing is clear: Crawford isn't just aiming to win. He's aiming to dominate, adding more intrigue. Super middleweight star Caleb Plant has chimed in, saying Crawford has a real shot at beating Canelo. His breakdown of Crawford's power, adaptability, and technique has gained attention, especially coming from someone who knows what it takes to compete at 168 pounds.
I give him a chance. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside, and he can fight going both ways. So it's a
Caleb Plant's recent comments have added even more fire to the ongoing conversation. His honest assessment and deep understanding of the sport have earned praise from Crawford's fans, who see his words as further validation. Canelo's supporters, however, believe Plant is overhyping Crawford and underestimating Canelo's dominance, especially in his natural weight class. The idea that Crawford could move up and beat one of boxing's most decorated champions has sparked heated debate, with even top-tier fighters like Plant backing Crawford. The anticipation for this historic showdown is reaching a fever pitch. Former champion Amir Khan has also weighed in. Having faced Crawford himself, he brings a unique perspective. Khan emphasized an often overlooked point: Crawford's size. Size, bro, remember, Crawford is a big boy as well. Crawford's a big guy. When it comes down to it, yeah. I think Crawford, in my opinion, he's got what it takes, Khan said. Khan's comments have added a new layer to the debate. While some agree that Crawford's physicality could pose a legitimate threat at 168, others argue that his size advantage is only significant at welterweight. Still, Crawford's supporters view Khan's endorsement as proof that their fighter isn't just skilled, he's physically ready too. They believe his size, combined with adaptability, could cause real problems for Canelo. Finally, former Canelo opponent Daniel Jacobs has made a surprising statement. Having gone toe-to-toe with Canelo himself, Jacobs says he believes Crawford has both the power and the skill to beat the Mexican superstar. His words have sent another jolt through the boxing world, further intensifying the narrative surrounding this high-stakes showdown.
One of my favorites, Terence Crawford. First, I know Crawford since the amateurs. I've known him since we were like 15, 16, 17 years old. So we have a history together. So my heart is with him naturally. But what does it take for him to actually win, right? Because there's a few factors. There's weight, there's power, there's skill. I believe that Terence Crawford has the skills to be
Daniel Jacobs' recent comments have reignited the fiery debate between fans of both fighters. Crawford's supporters view Jacobs' endorsement as yet another credible voice recognizing their champion's elite skill set, especially significant given Jacobs has shared the ring with Canelo himself. They consider his perspective invaluable. On the other hand, Canelo's fans are quick to dismiss Jacobs' remarks, arguing that his loss to Canelo may have clouded his judgment. They insist that no matter how talented Crawford is, he has never faced an opponent of Canelo's caliber, especially at 168 pounds. Jacobs' backing of Terence Crawford has only added fuel to the already polarizing nature of this fight. Some interpret his words as clear validation that Crawford has what it takes to pull off a historic upset. Others see it as mere hype intended to stir up drama. Either way, Jacobs' insight has added even more excitement to what is being called one of the most significant and unpredictable fights in recent boxing history. Jacobs went further in his analysis, highlighting a key element of the matchup: whether Crawford can handle the kind of pressure and power that Canelo brings. While he acknowledged Crawford's superior technical ability, Jacobs expressed doubts about whether Crawford has ever encountered the relentless pressure Canelo is known for. He's never been punched by a fighter like Canelo. He's never had to deal with pressure like Canelo's, Jacobs said. This statement sparked heated debate. Many fans agree that Canelo's strength and experience in the higher weight classes give him a major advantage. However, Crawford's supporters argue that his elite defense and in-ring adaptability will allow him to neutralize Canelo's aggression. The question: can Crawford handle Canelo's pressure? has now become central to the pre-fight narrative. Fans are eagerly awaiting the answer when the two finally face off in the ring. Jacobs didn't stop there. He delved even deeper, addressing what could ultimately decide the fight: Crawford's ability to absorb Canelo's power. "My heart is with Terence Crawford, but the only deciding factor that I feel may change things is whether he can take the punch. He has the skill over Canelo, but can he take that wrath? Can he take that 168 to 175 power?" he asked. That comment stirred even more controversy. Critics argue that moving up to fight a powerhouse like Canelo is a high-risk gamble, one that could go terribly wrong. But Crawford's fans see Jacobs' remarks as further proof of their fighter's greatness. Not only do they acknowledge his superior skill, but they also believe in his mental resilience and physical toughness. Whether Crawford can endure the physical toll of facing a dominant force like Canelo remains one of the biggest and most compelling questions in boxing today. Jacobs' honest and nuanced breakdown has only intensified the anticipation surrounding this historic matchup, adding yet another twist. Boxing legend Oscar de la Hoya has voiced serious doubts about Crawford's chances. He described the idea of a welterweight stepping up to challenge a powerhouse like Canelo at 168 pounds as almost impossible to imagine. His blunt skepticism has cut through the hype, forcing many to reconsider whether Crawford's ambition is an act of bravery or a reckless risk.
It's an all win-win situation for him, for Crawford, if you think about it, but I've just, in all the years I've been in the sport, it's just very difficult to fathom the idea that a welterweight moving up to 168 pounds and against a good fighter in Canelo. I just don't see it. I haven't seen it in the past, and I don't see it now. So I cannot go against Canelo in this one because of the weight difference. And we have weight classes for a reason. So, but I do respect and admire what Terence Crawford is doing. He's daring to be great. And
Oscar de la Hoya's recent remarks have reignited the intense debate surrounding the highly anticipated Canelo versus Crawford showdown. Some fans echo de la Hoya's concerns, believing that Terence Crawford may have taken on more than he can handle. Critics argue that the jump in weight is too drastic and could expose weaknesses in Crawford's game, especially against a natural super middleweight like Canelo Álvarez. Crawford's supporters, however, remain unshaken. They point to his unmatched skill set, adaptability, and a proven history of rising to the occasion. As the fight draws closer, the divide between the two camps has never been deeper. One major question lingers: is this a bold, history-making risk, or a dangerous miscalculation? No matter which side of the fence you're on, one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher, and the entire boxing world is watching with bated breath. But the doubts don't end with de la Hoya. Former world champion Chris Algieri has also weighed in, offering a more analytical perspective. Known for his sharp fight breakdowns, Algieri emphasized the immense challenge of imagining Crawford and Canelo in the same ring. He pointed to the sheer size difference as a major factor, one that makes the task ahead for Crawford incredibly difficult. Rather than writing Crawford off, Algieri framed the matchup as a unique, complex challenge, one that could redefine what's possible in boxing. His measured take adds another thoughtful layer to the ongoing conversation.
Canelo, but like I said, as we get closer and start to see, start to break down how these guys are going to match up, I have a hard time even picturing them in the ring together based on the size and just the fact that this fight's happening. But we got tons of time before that happens. But it's going to be an interesting break.
Chris Algieri's analysis has sparked a new wave of skepticism in the ongoing discourse. Many fans agree with his assessment. The size gap between the fighters makes this matchup feel almost unreal. Critics argue that no matter how technically gifted Crawford is, Canelo's physicality and experience at 168 pounds will ultimately prove overwhelming. Crawford's loyal supporters, however, see this differently. For them, it's shaping up to be yet another classic underdog story, the kind that defines boxing greatness. They believe that with the right strategy, movement, and precision, skill can still overcome size and raw power. Then came a bold statement that shook the boxing world. Respected trainer Joel Diaz entered the conversation and made his opinion crystal clear. Known for his straight-talking style, Diaz didn't mince words. He stated bluntly that Crawford simply doesn't stand a chance against Canelo. His comment ignited a firestorm. While some analysts and fans agreed with his blunt assessment, Crawford's backers took offense. To them, this is just more of the same doubt that Crawford has faced his entire career, and consistently silenced in the ring. As more voices continue to weigh in, the hype and tension around this matchup only grow stronger. With each new perspective, the stakes feel even higher, the narrative even richer. This fight has transformed into more than just a contest of fists. It's become one of the most emotionally charged and widely discussed matchups in modern boxing history.
Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Álvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Álvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford...
Joel Diaz's bold statement has ignited a fresh wave of passionate reactions across the boxing world. Critics of Terence Crawford have latched onto Diaz's remarks, calling them further confirmation that Canelo Álvarez's size, power, and experience will simply be too much for the welterweight superstar to handle, but Crawford's fans were quick to push back. They argue that Diaz is underestimating Crawford's elite skill set, mental fortitude, and history of proving doubters wrong. Still, Diaz's comments underscore just how monumental this challenge really is. Moving up in weight to face one of boxing's most dominant champions, a man who's thrived for years in heavier divisions, places immense pressure on Crawford. The size gap is real, and Crawford will need to be near perfect to silence the critics. As opinions like Diaz's spread, the hype surrounding this fight only intensifies. This is no longer just a stylistic matchup, it's a high-stakes battle of grit, legacy, and resolve, and the conversation didn't stop there. Former world champion Amir Khan, who has faced both fighters, also weighed in, this time with high praise for Canelo Álvarez. Reflecting on his own experience in the ring, Khan painted a vivid picture of Canelo's evolution. Canelo was a beast, man. He's still a beast. He's become a better fighter. He started fighting smarter, you know. He's looking really good, Khan said. His comments spotlight Canelo's growth, not just in power, but in tactical maturity. For Crawford, that evolution represents an even steeper hill to climb. Coming from someone who has felt Canelo's power firsthand, Khan's perspective is a stark reminder of what's at stake. While Crawford's fans maintain that his intelligence, versatility, and speed give him the tools to pull off an upset, Khan's remarks reinforce the belief that Canelo's power, experience, and technical development may simply be too much. As the fight nears, the narrative has become more polarized than ever. Canelo's rise to near perfection casts a long shadow over Crawford's ambition. Every new voice adds more tension, more fire, and more anticipation, adding a refreshing note of balance. Rising boxing prospect Abdullah Mason offered a more measured take. He acknowledged the massive challenge Crawford faces but highlighted the very qualities that make Crawford special: his adaptability, mindset, and relentless work ethic. Mason's thoughtful perspective injected a layer of unpredictability, reminding everyone that in boxing, surprises are always one punch away.
They got the skills, but what boxing comes down to, who the best fighter that night, who got the best game plan. But Crawford, he got the skills to make it happen, and Canelo, he also has the skills and experience. So, I'm just waiting for it to happen, and I'm gonna be.
Abdullah Mason's comments brought a breath of fresh air to the conversation. With cautious optimism, he acknowledged the overwhelming experience and dominance of Canelo Álvarez, while also highlighting what makes Terence Crawford a truly special fighter. His perspective cuts to the core of what makes this bout so captivating: the clash of styles, levels of experience, and strategic approaches. For many fans, Mason's take is a powerful reminder that no matter how stacked the odds may seem, fights aren't won on paper, they are won in the ring. Canelo's supporters lean on his unmatched resume, physical advantage, and championship pedigree. But Crawford's backers draw strength from his technical brilliance, ring IQ, and history of beating the odds. Mason's acknowledgement of both sides has only fueled the fire of this already electric build-up. This fight has now become more than just a battle between two elite boxers. It's a test of execution, discipline, and mental warfare. The confidence is brimming on both sides, and the anticipation grows stronger by the day. The Crawford vs Canelo matchup is now considered one of the most anticipated fights in modern boxing history. On one side stands Terence Bud Crawford, a pound-for-pound king, known for his strategic mind, adaptability, and fearless approach to challenges. On the other is Canelo Álvarez, a living legend, defined by explosive power, technical growth, and years of dominance at the highest level. But this isn't just a fight, it's a collision of legacy, risk, and philosophy, precision versus power, courage versus caution. Crawford's bold decision to move up in weight has split the boxing world. Some believe his footwork, timing, and IQ could neutralize Canelo's raw strength. Others argue it's simply too much, that he's gambling with greatness and stepping into a danger zone. As the debate rages on, one thing is undeniable: this fight will leave a lasting mark on boxing history, regardless of the outcome.